So we're going to begin a Q&A. Your first question, at what point would you consider APSA financially solvent?
Can you please define solvent?
Financially solvent is that you have enough funds to pay off your debt, capital funds to pay off your debt, and invest in new capital.
I believe that we can define APSA as financially solvent when we are able to successfully fund all of our events with reason and still have money left over to maybe work on other events or promotional or just anywhere money can help APSA as a whole.
And what steps would you take to become financially solvent?
If we are not already financially solvent, then I would like to implement more fundraisers or, as I said, volunteer events, all to try and make APSA money.
Second question. Every year, APSA is given an AS budget of roughly $2,000, which needs to be spent in its entirety throughout the year. How do you plan to fulfill this need?
I plan to fulfill spending close to the given AS budget by using it steady throughout the whole academic year. We have events almost every week, and a lot of the time they do need a budget, and pretty much we'll just spend it at a steady rate and try our best to not go over but come close.
Next question. Finance director is in charge of budgets for FTS and high school conference, as well as all APSA events. How do you plan to ensure the respective directors and heads are on the same page as you in terms of budget?
I can work closely with the next year's EVP or academic and whoever is hosting the event and try to find a reasonable budget to pay for what is needed for each event and just stay on track with each other. Communication, I think, is key.
Next question. Should a fellow board member go over budget, what would you do?
I think that this really depends on the dollar amount, and if it is ever so slightly, then that can be solved pretty easily. But if they happen to go over by a lot, then I would probably find out the reasoning, and if the money was necessary, then maybe we could use APSA's money to fund that because it might have not have been unavoidable. But if it is found that there is someone at fault, then I would have to confront them and find out what had happened and maybe work with someone at a higher position with me to figure out further action.
Final question. As you may or may not know, APSA possesses an emergency safety net that insulates APSA from any substantial debt. In what cases would you believe it is viable to access this safety net, and why?
Hopefully we never will have to use a safety net, but in the case that a large event cannot successfully be hosted at all, then I think it would be okay. Or there's always situational emergencies, and things come up that might require the use of the safety net.
All right, thank you very much.